Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Let me know if you can hear me in the chat. Let me know if you can hear me in the chat. All right, you can hear me. I want to start with this quick video. Take a look. What's up, everybody? Pastor Anthony here. I'm so excited that you're watching this video. I don't want to hold you. I just want to take this moment to invite you to the new church this Sunday at 9:50 a.m. for two big reasons. Number one, we are a loving community that's powered by the presence of God. And number two, we believe that we have curated a culture of relevancy. We're going to meet you where you are and help you get to where you need to go. So come out this Sunday, 9:50, 2817 Utah Street in South St. Louis, Missouri, and I promise you it will not be a wasted investment. Hope to see you soon. All right, thank you for your time. Look here. That is our official invite video for July. That is the video that I'm asking every party to help me get this into the eyeballs of thousands of people. And this is how I need you to do it. You can go to any one of our social media platforms that we currently are on, which is Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. But most importantly, Facebook and Instagram, and share the video. If you've already shared it, I need you to share it again. Also, I need for you to get the link either from Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube and send it to at least 3 people before Sunday, hopefully between now and Saturday. Just invite them to our church. I've done the heavy lifting for you and I need your help. A couple announcements, a few announcements. I know we're supposed to have children's church this weekend, this Sunday. We had to move some things around due to a few things that was out of our control. So children's church will not be this weekend. Children's church is not going anywhere. We'll be back with it. And normally, but just this week we'll not have it. That don't mean don't come or don't bring your kids. Come on and come. Let's have one big family worship. There is 2 big things coming and then one regular thing that we do that's coming up that I want you to guard your hearts and minds and lean it toward full participation. Well, on this Sunday, we have basic training discipleship class. That is a class in our discipleship track that I teach usually on the second Sunday of each month. It's been a wonderful time. This will be our 3rd installment. It just helps us understand and go deeper theologically and practically. It's a great class, 8:20 on this Sunday. For those who've already taken the class, at least part 1 or part 2, you shouldn't have got a link from me to confirm whether you can or cannot make it. Please go to that link and confirm if you can or cannot make it. If you have never taken a class or you've not gotten a link, I need you to go to our website if you're interested in registering for that class at thenewchurchsto.org. Scroll down where you see basic training and you can register right there. Now, for the 2 big things, one for men, one for women. Men, on tomorrow night, we have the huddle. That's Friday. I don't know when you listen to this, but if you listen to this before Friday, July 11th, 7 p.m., I want every man to join us for our regular second Friday, but big program called The Huddle, where it is a time for development and fellowship. It is a wonderful and growing opportunity for men. We also feed them. I need every man that's listening to this to register and join us tomorrow night at The Huddle. You can go to thenewchurchsto.org and right on that page, you can scroll down and register for The Huddle. Now, if you have already participated in The Huddle, you too should have gotten a link suggesting whether you can or cannot make it on tomorrow. I want you to respond to that link if you have not. And for those who have not registered at all or have not gotten the link, men, I need you to go ahead and register. Women, help me push this. Share it out. There's a promo video on our social media pages. I want you to share that out too. We just want to continue to cultivate this space for men. Now, women, we have spent a lot of energy and resources for your Women Emphasis Weekend, which is July 19th and 20th, Saturday and Sunday. Now, on the Sunday service, it usually takes care of itself. And so we don't have to push that as hard as we do this Saturday. Now, this lunch, we have a special guest facilitator, Miss Tina Grimes of Tina Enterprises, a world-renowned speaker in terms of leadership development, training, and impartation. And we have essentially, I don't want to say hired her, but we have contracted her to come and impart. And I want her to impart into women and not seats. And so we prepared this wonderful opportunity for you to have a free lunch, fellowship, and get this impartation. And so I need every woman, if you have not, clear your schedule. This is not just for the partners of TNC. This is for any woman that's listening to me. Register for the She Rises Empowerment Luncheon at the New Church STL.org. As soon as you go there, you'll see it right there. She Rises Empowerment Luncheon to be held on July 19th at 11:30 a.m. We want you to register. It is free, no cost, free food, impartation, fellowship, and being able to surround yourself around women. It's going to be an incredible but crazy opportunity for growth, development, and fellowship. So the huddle tomorrow for men and next Saturday, the Women Empowerment Lunch, both can be registered at the newchurchstl.org. And so I'm excited about that. We're going to go to Proverbs chapter 4. Proverbs chapter 4. And while you're gathering that, I want you to listen to our mission. Our mission is to foster community of love while providing a pathway for discipleship as we embrace our spiritual journey. Amen. Proverbs chapter 4. Well, on this week, if you was on my prayer call on this Tuesday, and then if you follow us on social media, you've heard me speak from this idea that was dropped into my spirit on Tuesday morning that suggests don't let the crazy control you. Don't let the crazy control you. And you know what? That thing has been with me all week. And so when I was deciding on am I going to do a extension on Sunday sermon, and I began to work through that thing, and it just hit me. No, man. This thing is in you. You got to talk about this some more and tease it out. Because I don't know about you, man, but the crazy been trying me. The crazy been trying me. And I had to really get a hold of myself and a grip of myself. And I keep telling you, a lot of my teachings are not pointed towards you. They hit me first, and then I'm able to impart into you. So I don't ever want to appear isolatory from the words that God has given me to give to you, because God gives it to me. A lot of things that God gives to me, I deal with myself as well. So let's define the crazy so you can see if you're wrestling with it too. The crazy, here it is. The crazy is anything that can potentially drain your energy and distract you from your purpose. Anything that can potentially drain your energy and distract you from your purpose. And as a subset, get this now, it is those negative influences and chaotic moments that will try to pull you off track. Now, listening and looking at that definition, you probably would have to admit, yeah, the crazy has shown up in my life. I am here tonight to tell you, though, you cannot let the crazy control. You cannot allow those things that could potentially drain your energy and distract you from your purpose. You cannot allow those negative influences, those chaotic moments, and people, if you will, that are coming to pull you off track. Be successful. You can't let it control you. So let's grow together in this study. And so we want to use this Proverbs text as a biblical backdrop, and I want to give you an understanding of Proverbs. Proverbs is a part of what is called the wisdom literature in the Hebrew Bible. It is a collection of wisdom sayings that were likely compiled over time. The author is undefined, although many people attribute it to Solomon, but the reality is we can't definitively say that it was Solomon. But in these writings, or these collection of wisdom sayings, it reflects, or perhaps reflects, the values and teachings of ancient Israelite society. And so as we embrace and engage this lesson tonight and use Proverbs 4 as a biblical backdrop, I want you to keep that idea in mind, that we specifically are dealing with a kind of pathway that is laced with wisdom. And in this particular passage, this wisdom is stemming from the voice of a father who's imparting into his children. And so we are privy to lean into the conversation metaphorically, if you will, that this father is imparting wisdom into his children. And from that conversation, we can extract important principles as pertaining to avoiding the crazy, not allowing the crazy to control you. Don't let the crazy control you. And so we're going to address some principles that I want to call corners. There are several corners that's going to build an enclosure for us to stay in that the crazy does not control us. So I'm going to give you 4 corners tonight. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to put the lines that are congruent to the 4 corners that we may enclose ourselves for not allowing the crazy to control you. Y'all ready? I don't want to be long tonight. I want to give you this because I want you to do some reflective work more so than have a heavy theological consumption that you have to digest and regurgitate. So the first corner is your heart. If you're going to avoid the crazy, you must consider the first corner that must be stabilized, and that is your heart. So let's go to Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23. Look what the writer says. The writer says, keep your heart with all vigilance, for from it flows springs of life, putting great intentionality on the heart. Keep your heart with all vigilance, awareness, for from it flows spring of life. So life derives from the heart is perhaps the message this parent was telling to his children. You know why? Because the heart, get this now, is the core of who we are. Everything, every decision that we make stems from the heart, which is also connected to the mind. So those two things is the ecosystem for where all thought, behaviors, motivations, inspirations, actions derive from. So the heart is the core of who we are. And so this writer is telling his children metaphorically, keep your heart, keep the core of who you are with vigilance. Be watchful, protect, guard your heart. And we need to understand this, since this is a Hebrew text that gives a Hebrew kind of thought, that the heart isn't just about emotions. Because a lot of times say, they broke my heart is broken. I'm not minimizing that, because perhaps that is the case. But the heart is just not about emotions. The heart, get this now, is the foundation of our character. Our character is a byproduct of the posture of our heart. It speaks to who and what is influencing us. And so our heart gives a kind of megaphone platform that suggests what influences me, because what influences me directly sets up residence in my heart, and what sets up residence in my heart ultimately exposes the kind of character that I'm currently matriculating in. So the heart is just not emotions, it's really the core of who we are. And so that is the reason why each day and throughout the day we must continue to ask ourselves in conversation, is my heart in the right place? Or is my heart defined by the crazy? Is my heart controlled by the crazy? Is my heart controlled by the crazy? Or is my heart in the right place? Is my heart controlled by stuff that is draining my energy, that is distracting me, is causing negative influences to become the embodiment of me, chaotic moments, things that are pulling me off track? Is that what my heart really is? Am I thinking about those things? Am I letting it or allowing it to be the guiding force of my life currently? I got to know where my heart currently stands, because if we don't get the heart in the right position, then that craziness will have long lasting and detrimental impact over our lives. And so I want to ask you this question. I'm telling you, I won't be long tonight. What crazy have you allowed to shape your heart? What crazy, what negative influence, what distracting things What distorted things? What are those things? And let me remind you what the crazy is again. Anything that could potentially drain you of your energy and distract you from your purpose, and as a subset, those negative influence and kind of moments that will try to pull you off track. Now I'm going to ask you again, as you hear that, what crazy have you allowed or have we allowed to shape our heart? And so if we're going to ask that question, we got to be honest. Don't be dishonest here. If you know you've given into the crazy, be honest. Because the next question must be asked, what are we willing to do to change that? What crazy have we allowed to shape our heart, and what are we willing to do to change that? Because if you're not willing to change your acceptance of the crazy controlling you, then you will never be able to walk out into your true purpose, because everything that you do from that point on is defined by how your heart is going to respond to those things that are ultimately coming to distract you and, dare I say, destroy you. So we got to get the heart right. The first corner, the first principle, we got to get the heart right if it's not going to, if we're not going to allow the crazy to control us. The second thing we must do, the second corner, so we have the heart, first corner, top left. Let's draw a line and walk to the second corner, which will be our speech. Somebody put that in the chat. Our speech. Our speech. Look what Proverbs 4, Proverbs chapter 4, verse 24 says. Get this now. Put away from you crooked speech, and put devious talks far away from you. Father still imparting it to his children metaphorically. Put away from you crooked speech, and put devious talks far from you. And so let's dive into this a little deeper, because that phrase, crooked speech, has great connotation. Also, the phrase devious talk has great connotation. And so we must, etymologically, you remember that word, etymologically, to break down the word from its original meaning. And since this is a Hebrew-based text, Old Testament in the Hebrew Bible, we look at it from the Hebrew perspective, those phrases, crooked speech and devious talks. And so that phrase crooked speech from the Hebrew translates to the English understanding that means twisted or distorted. Twisted or distorted for my note takers. Devious talk translates from the Hebrew to our English understanding meaning perverse, deceitful, or misleading. Now that's a lot in that. That's a lot to unpack. So the author says, or the writer says, in the voice of this father engaging his children, imparting wisdom to them, put away your crooked speech. Put away twisted or distorted speaking and devious talks. Put away twisted or distorted speaking, and then conversationally put away things that are exuding perversion, deceit, and things that are misleading. Which means that two things are in play here. The conversations that I engage in terms of listening and speaking, also the words that I speak into the atmosphere, whether it be against someone else or my own self. Because when I become a victim, I don't even want to call it victim, when I become a willing participant in crooked speech and devious talk, when I become a willing participant in twisted and distorted conversations and speaking, when I become a willing participant in perverse, deceitful, and misleading speaking and conversations, I have now aborted the right, get this now, to not allow the crazy to control me. My whole being is now being controlled by the crazy because it's showing up in how I'm talking and it's showing up in what I'm willing to entertain in conversations. You have to grow past being a willing or unwilling participant in corrupt, perverse, deceitful, gossiping conversations, but also allowing yourself to become a conduit of negative talk, negative speaking, because I am creating an enclosure, four corners. Corner number one is hard. Then I'm walking my life into corner number two, which will be my speech. But if I don't get my speech together, I can never trail down to corner number three. And so my enclosure is broken. And if my enclosure is broken, then I'm building by this square, four corners, four principles, and my line for each corner is how I'm going to live it out. If any of that is broken, then I set myself up to be affected by the crazy. And so I got to watch that crooked speech. I got to watch those twisted and distorted words that are coming in my mouth. I got to watch those devious talks, those devious conversations, those perverted conversations, those deceitful conversations, that stuff that's misleading, misguiding, the things that's coming in my mouth that's misleading and misguiding. Because why do I need to do that? Because I cannot solve craziness by responding with craziness. I cannot produce great energy if I'm using bad energy to fight bad energy. So what I must do now is, as a consequence, teach on the night, Pastor, I must elevate my language. I must find intentional ways to communicate thought without dumbing down to the crazy that is trying to destroy me. I must elevate my language in the way I talk. I must elevate my conversations and who I'm engaging in conversation, that it does not bespeak of confusion and drama. I cannot be attracted to non-progressive conversations that will ultimately damage who I am in the inside, but also have the potential to damage God's humanity, whether they're broken or not. Now that's hard. It's hard to do, but it's doable when you do it with the power of the Holy Spirit. Because sometimes you just want to cuss somebody out. Sometimes you just want to tell people how they really look, how they really acting. Sometimes you want to tell people the impact that they're really having on your life. But you have to understand that many words that we want to speak, we cannot speak it if we have not been released by the Holy Spirit or authorized to speak it. Man, I sit there and watch people kill me, not literally, but figuratively, with all kind of lies. And by nature, I'm an attacker. You get me, I'll get you. But I realize, what good is it going to do if I dummy myself down to the lies that they're telling? What I need to do is continue to show up in spaces as my authentic self, not say that I'm perfect, address those things that are ill about me, omit those things that are not in right standing with God, to God, but show up as my authentic self, willing to live out my true purpose without abandoning an assignment based off the words of a crazy person. Because if I have four corners that is building an enclosure that I may be able to avoid the crazy, when I walk over from my heart to my language, the line must connect so that that first enclosure can be set. Four corners if you're going to avoid the crazy. Number one, I feel you, Jesus, your heart. I live that principle out. Number two, the next corner is my speech. Get that together. Now I'm walking down to the third corner. And what's the third corner? The third corner is my sight/insight. And I'm using these words kind of interchangeably, but it's really my sight and insight that's going to help me not allow the crazy to control me. Y'all ready to work? Look what Proverbs chapter 4, verse 25 says. Oh my God. Thank you, Holy Ghost. It says, let your eyes look directly forward and your gaze be straight before you. Let your eyes look directly forward and your gaze be straight before you. Here it is again. This parent, metaphorically, as the voice of the text of reasoning and wisdom imparting to his children, perhaps was saying, what you lock your eyes on is the source you are committing to draw insight from. That's why I said sight and insight. Who I'm looking at and locking in, and what I'm looking at and locking in is really a tacit commitment to this is where I'm drawing my insight. And my insight are those things that shapes my mentality that ultimately defines or informs where I'm going to go. I cannot grow beyond my insight. I cannot grow beyond the transformative reality of my mind and that which is impacting my mind and how I see this thing called life. That's insight. So how I see things is how I respond to things, and how I respond to things dictates how and where I'm going to go. And so here's this parent telling his children, metaphorically in this text, let your eyes look forward and your gaze be straight before you. In other words, he's hinting, or the writer is hinting, or the writers are hinting at a kind of focus-like, laser-like vision, focus-like, laser-like acquired insight. Because if my sight and insight don't have a kind of focus, then I will have the inability to complete the enclosure to avoid the crazy. And now I become vulnerable to be impacted by negative influences, chaotic moments, distractions, discord, all of that equals the crazy. See, here it is. We must set our eyes on what we are building and not what is trying to break us. We must set our eyes on what we are building and not what is trying to break us. Let me make it personal to you. Set your eyes on what you're building, not what's trying to break you. You're so focused on the crazy that's coming to break you, and you're losing focus and sight, and now your insight has become contaminated and corrupted because you're focused on the breaking and not the building. And if you keep focusing on what's designed to break you, guess what? It's going to ultimately break you. That's why this writer in his text, in the voice of this father, is telling, look here, keep your eyes forward. It's rough, it's tough, but it's wisdom. Keep it forward, because if you allow your eyes to wander into different spaces that are ultimately designed to break you, you'll be broken and you will stop the building. And it hit me, man, I've been building something special this year in my life, in my ministry, in my occupation, trying to elevate my understanding of parenting an adult from a extended lens while keeping my eyes to help him transition into adulthood. And so I'm building all of these things. And then the crazy just hits me. Pow, 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 pow. And I was like, man, I done lost little focus on what I was doing because I'm focused on that stuff that's really designed to break me. And oftentimes those people don't really realize that they're just a pawn in the enemy's chessboard that is coming to destroy that which is greater. And that which is greater, is what God has put inside of you. Greater is the God that is in you, that's Bible now, than the enemy that's in the world. So we got to reattach our attention to what we're building. Don't demolish the construction because you're so concerned about those who are never designed to be on the construction site anyway. All they want you to do is destroy it anyway. The enemy is using them. You got to ask yourself, what am I focusing on today? Daily. What is my focus? What am I supposed to be doing? And is what I'm supposed to be doing leading me toward my purpose and destiny? Or have I succumbed to those who are coming and that which is coming to break me? I got to keep my sight straight ahead so that my insight can be ever evolving. Because I got my heart corner number one. I'm matriculating through that principle, and I'm going to my speech. I'm getting it together. I'm matriculating through that principle, and I'm falling into my sight. But then I got to get to the fourth corner. And the fourth corner is my feet. So I got my heart corner number one. I got my speech corner number two. I got my sight / insight corner number three. But then I got my feet corner number four. And look what the Proverbian community suggests. I feel you, Holy Ghost. In Proverbs chapter 4, 26, 27, keep straight the path of your feet. Do not swerve to the right or to the left. Turn your foot away from evil. Keep straight the path of your feet. Do not swerve to the right or to the left. Turn your foot away from evil. The parent was perhaps saying to the children in the voice of wisdom, where you go, literally and figuratively, shapes who and what you will potentially become. Where you go, literally and figuratively, shapes who and what you will potentially become. Oh, that's big, because we got to be careful what rooms we walk into and what environments we sit in. And the reason why we got to be careful, because comfortability sometimes distorts our conscience. You become comfortable in places that are offering corruption, and now your conscience has been altered to think that that room and that seat was ordained for you, because you were not discerning and judicious enough to decipher the value of the room. And so we go everywhere that we invited, not realizing that sometimes we are introduced to the crazy, not because the crazy came looking for us, but because we were willing to walk right into it. And so where we plant our feet has a great impact on our destiny. And then we're wondering why we are seemingly defeated cyclically. What I mean by that, we are so energized, but then we get defeated. Energized again, then get defeated. Energized again, and then defeated. Perhaps because you're sitting in chairs and you're standing in spaces and atmospheres that look great, but the underbelly is destruction and defeat. And it's impacting our destiny because we haven't structured a solid platform that guides where our feet should land. And so now, because my feet is off, that enclosure of craziness or avoiding crazy is now blocked. So I got to get my heart right. Then I got to walk it out to my speech. I got to walk it out to my sight and insight. I got to move it to my feet. And then the commitment and diligence is what's going to finalize the enclosure. So my heart speech, sight, feet. Those are the corners. But what's going to complete the cycle is me being committed to guarding my heart. Committed to me being concerned with my speech. Committed to me being concerned with my sight and insight. Committed to me being concerned with my feet. Committed. That's a commitment that you got to make. And if you don't make the commitment, you will not avoid allowing the crazy to control you. So we're believing and trusting God that we're going to give attention and intention to our heart. Attention and intention to our speech. Attention and intention to our sight and insight. And attention and intention to our feet, while being committed to doing so. Let me say this again as we round this thing out. 2 big things. Don't you dare log off here. Tomorrow night, men 18 and older, we have the huddle. The huddle. Promos on our social media platform. I need you to register today. If you've already got a link because you participate, I need you to go to the link and let us know if you have not, whether you coming or not. Women, I need you to help me get that out. If you did not get the link, go to our website, men. And I need you to go as soon as this over and register for the huddle and show up. I'm telling you, it's going to be a wonderful time at the newchurchsto.org. Ladies, I need you to register for the empowerment luncheon. If you have not, I need for you to slide out a couple hours of your schedule and get there on the 19th. Go to our website and register today. We're not logging off. We're registering as soon as I go off. Now, I want to challenge you. I don't want you to think about this. I want you to ask yourself, do I have $10 to my name? And if I have $10 to my name, I want you to sow a $10 seed tonight. This is a faith seed here. This is an expectation seed. $10 tonight. I don't want you to think about it. If you got it anywhere, I need you to sow it tonight or whenever you watch this. Now, if you don't have $10, I need you to get as close to it as possible. If your close is 8, sow 8. If your close is 6, this only if you don't have $10. Pastor, I only think I got 6. Challenge you to sow 6 tonight. Challenge you to sow whatever you can. But whatever you do, do not leave off it without sowing. Come on, I need everybody. Now, I'm pushing this because I really need for you to do it. Again, huddle tomorrow night for men. Go to our website and register. thenewchurchstl.org. Women, I need you to register tonight. Stop playing for this empowerment luncheon. And finally, I need you not to let the crazy control you. And you're going to do that. How? Because you're going to look at the 4 corners: your heart, speech, sight/insight, and your feet. And you're going to have that commitment to draw you to the enclosure. Once again, the huddle, men, go now. Register at thenewchurchstl.org. Ladies, the empowerment luncheon, go register right now. And nobody leaves without sowing $10 as close to it as you possibly can. You want to partner with the New Church? You can text the word partner 314-596-9124. You want to know how to get closer to God or become a believer? Text that number. We love you all. Men, will see you tomorrow night. Don't forget to promote that video, that invite video. Don't forget all the sign-ups we actually do. Basic training on Sunday. No children's church on Sunday. We're going to have a great and awesome worship on Sunday. But we're going to have a wonderful time at the huddle. And then we're going to keep registering the women. I love you all. Make sure you sow before you go. God bless you. Have a good night.